Hi, I'm Dave King from Under the Hood Barbecue, and today we're going to be talking about offset smoking, all of the basics, all the tips, all the tricks that we've learned over the years, and everything you wanted to know about how to use one of these things. Why don't you join us on the special cook? Let's go. So why are we talking about this today? Well, a lot of people message me all the time and they say, Dave, why don't you use your Oklahoma Joe more than you do, the offset smoker? And if you know us by now, you know that we have a lot of different barbecues going on. We have got a 3 Weber Smoky Mountains, we've got multiple master touches, inbuilt barbecues and benches, a Weber Smoke Fire, a pizza oven, gas barbecues. We've got a whole range of things going on. We've also got the Oklahoma Joe offset smoker. So what I've discovered over the years is that when people want to cook on this type of smoker, they jump in and they buy one. Here's the issue, they end up in tears maybe 8 times out of 10. That's because they don't really understand at this stage what it is to have fire management, patience, you've got to be on the ground all the time. And guess what? I was exactly the same when I started cooking with it. So what I had to learn was how to manage my fire with nothing but charcoal and wood. Let me tell you a little bit more about what the Oklahoma Joe is and how it works. So the offset smoker, they don't call it a stick burner for nothing. If you try and feed this nothing but charcoal, it is going to suffer with temperatures. They come in various different thicknesses, 3 mil, 6 mil, 10 mil. The Oklahoma Joe Longhorn is 3 mil, so we've got a little bit more work to do with maintaining temperature. So let's have a look at how this is structured. You've got yourself a firebox, and inside the firebox is whereabouts you're going to put all of your wood and everything like that. Now, you want to make sure that you don't just put charcoal just loosely on the bottom, but you want to keep it off the bottom like so. Airflow is very, very important, and if you come around the side here, you'll be able to see there is a door, and there's also a vent here that we can open and shut, and this will control our air intake through here. However, this thing here I've discovered over the years, it's melted, it's warped, it's not really up to standards. So what I managed to grab was one of these. It's a basket which is going to hold it up off the ground, and I'm just going to pop it in there like so. And if you have a look through the door here, you can see we've got a nice air cavity underneath there, very, very important. Once the ash falls down, really important to remove that. Coming through into the main chamber here now, I've got 2 shelves on this. Today I'm not going to need the second shelf, so I'm just going to get rid of that. And then you can see there that we've got the main grill. Now under the grill, they've got what they call baffle plates or tuning plates, small holes down here. And as you work your way across, you can see bigger holes down there, and that's to help control that air temperature as we come through. It's going to drag the smoke across the grate, up through the chimney, and out through the top. And that's how we're going to get our smoke flavour all in and through our cook. So let's light our offset smoker. One of the most valuable tools you're going to have is going to be a chimney. This particular one is the Weber chimney. It's got holes in the sides, a grill in the bottom there, and what we're going to do is we're going to load it up, and that's going to make sure we get our charcoal all the way white before we start. Now we're going to give a base of charcoal on this before we put any wood in, because it's going to give us a baseline of heat. So if you take a look at this, you saw before we put our basket in, so we use a few white fire lighters, and they were going to burn off, so none of that petrochemical stuff is going to stay in it. And I'm going to put it on a bed of cold charcoal, hot charcoal onto cold charcoal. So I'm going to take my chimney like so, put it in there on the angle, grab my Samba Super Lump, because I love the way that this is done. Just something to tip that in like so. So a full chimney of charcoal. Get yourself a nice long match like that from Samba. There we go, now we've got a little bit of smoke. We're just going to light that on top of the cold charcoal, and then we're going to tip that in once it's fully white and engulfed on all the way over. And we're going to open up all of our vents and our door the entire way as well. Just make sure you're not losing any hot coals out through the side, particularly onto your deck. And we're going to light that once it's done, tip it in, and get our chamber up to temperature. Let's go. All right, our chimney's done its thing. Check this out. Our charcoal is ready to roll. And very, very carefully take this and tip it right into there. And with these Weber gloves, you can actually pick up charcoal. It's really, really good. Don't do that with bare hands. Now that is looking good. I'm going to take one of these big bits of chunk here of lump, chuck it in for good measure, shut that down. Now here's the key thing. Take your wood. You might want to use apple, cherry, kahurikawa. Today I'm using applewood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them and put them on top of the firebox and let them warm up as close as they can get to combustible as whereabouts we want to have them. If we put them in right now, the smoke is going to be puffy and white and therefore acrid. What we're aiming for is a thin blue smoke or almost no smoke at all, and that's going to make an incredible flavor of smoke. So right now, let's take that and let it get up to temp. We're going to aim for about 225 or 250 before we put our lamb shanks in. So far, looking good. All right, so I'm super excited because the lamb shanks are ready to go on. We're going to cook them on our offset smoker. Check this out. We've seasoned these up with the garlic and herb salt and all that good stuff. Now this has been a patience game for me because I've had to wait till this gets to 275. It's taken about 30 minutes to 40 minutes. No wood has gone on yet. Now here's the tip. Run it a little bit hotter. We're close on 300 degrees. In fact, we're actually running our fireboard right here, and you can see right down here, it's about 315 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're only going to probe up one lamb shank. We could probe them all up, it doesn't really matter. This end here is a little cooler, and it's about finding your sweet spot. For me, I'm probably about this front third is what I want to use. Now before I open this, because I'm going to lose all my heat, and here's the other thing, I'm going to lose my heat, but also going to put cold meat in that. It's going to significantly drop the temp. So I'm going to actually get our splits, which are actually smoking a little bit. They're very hot to touch. And I'm going to pop that on top of our charcoal. Now, I'm going to put all 3 splits in, and I'm not going to shut this firebox until they fully combust. But while that's going on, I'm going to open this up. There goes our probe, so we can actually see our digital temperature. We've got that set to let us know when that's going to drop. And I'm going to simply take my shanks, and I'm going to pop them all on. And as simple as that. So I'm not even going to bother using that back end of it like that, because it doesn't really matter. And shut that down. Chimney open on full. And now if you come over here, you'll see that we want to make sure that's fully combusted, because see that puffy white smoke? We don't want that in our meat. I'm going to open the door all the way to allow a little bit of extra heat to go on that. And there we go, now fully on fire. And at that point, I'll shut my vent. And we come back up to here. You can see I've dropped all the way down to about 225 Fahrenheit, but that will continue to bump up. But we've got clean wood, clean smoke, that's what we're aiming for. And over here, you can see it's drawing nice and clean. All right, so far so good. This cook's going absolutely incredibly. In fact, the lamb shanks are cooking a little too fast. So here's what I've done, is I've actually just taken them from this end and put them at this end. And we just had a little alarm go off to tell us that it's hit 225, which is when we want to load some more wood on. Here it says about 230, but right over this far end, it's about 200. So let's just take a little peek. Before I do that, what I want to do at this point is I want to open my firebox. And you can see there's lots of heat. So I'm just going to chuck on one log. Just going to mix that up. And I'm just going to wait for that to catch on fire before I shut that once again. While that happens, let's take a little peek under the hood. And I've shifted them from here down to here because I wanted them more at the cooler end because it was cooking pretty fast. I've probed one shank only, and it's sitting in about the stall at the moment, which is about 160 degrees Fahrenheit. We know that when it stalls, it'll sit there for about an hour and then lift again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back in for about another hour, and then I'm going to chuck them into a foil tray with garlic, red onions, and all the rest of it. That's still combusting, and we're just going to give this a spritz in the meantime. Apple cider vinegar, water mix, give them a really good drink. They're taking on some beautiful colour, and I'll move these ones back here that were right up towards the firebox down there because they've got significant pullback on the bone, and we'll just keep an eye on those. Pop that back under the hood. And now that this is just about catching temp, I'm just going to shift around some of the ash. If you've got too much ash, it's going to keep the heat out. So you want to get rid of that ash. And now we're on fire, we can shut that back up again and allow that to draw the smoke all the way through our meat, back up out the chimney with that clean drawer. So this is really what we want, a nice thin blue smoke. It's not puffy, it's not white, it's just nice and thin and blue. Now, if that's not drawing correctly, come around here. You just want to have a play with your vent. You can open that or shut that, including sometimes the whole door open and shut. And if you just take a little peek underneath there, all those coals that's underneath there, you can clean those out if it gets all the way up, because that's going to be starving of oxygen. But right now for us, no issue whatsoever. because we're drawing clean, we're looking good. We're about 3 hours in, we had a nice long stall, check this out. They're looking absolutely sensational. The pullback from that bone is looking good, and the aroma is really on point. Now we won't lose the heat out there, but about now we've just about run out of our charcoal, so I've just topped it up. Can we take a look at this? And I've just added a little bit more wood as well. But right now the oxygen underneath is getting a little bit starved from that, so I'm going to get my Weber gloves, and this is just do this very carefully. Give it a bit of a shake, get rid of all of that charcoal, all of that dust. And then I have got a special shovel here, which I can go underneath and in a bucket remove the ash that we don't want, allowing more airflow I should say, to go through there, and allowing the heat to keep on coming as we finish off our cook. Alrighty, time to boat up our lamb shanks. Take one big tray, add in a bed of garlic, rosemary, and add garlic to taste. Like a lot of garlic, particularly when you're in lockdown, doesn't even matter. Jump on in here. Now just grab your shanks and throw them all in. I'm gonna grab myself some stock about this point, and you can make your own. I've just got one which is just store-bought, doesn't really matter. And just add some liquid. You could add red wine to this, or beer, or anything that you wanted to. And that's good enough for me. And I'm just going to foil that over, let that wrap in another 2 to 3 hours. We'll be good to go, or until we hit about 203, right in the deep part of the meat. Let's go. All right, we folded it over, tucked it into bed for a good night's sleep, let it finish its process in there with the garlic, the rosemary, the onions, and that stock. Just let it do its thing. The reason why we did that is it can't take it on any more smoke at that point, so we may as well just let it just finish off the cooking process and get ready for our dinner tonight. Going to be amazing. A couple more things I'd say would be this. Your wood, make sure it's well seasoned. In New Zealand, you can get it from the Urban Lumberjack. It's all ready to go at that point. You don't want any moisture in your wood, otherwise you're going to end up with that acrid taste. Also make sure, like we showed you earlier on, is that you can get that on the firebox, get it up to almost combustible before you put it in. Make sure it actually fully catches on fire before it goes in. Ash, make sure you get rid of any ash that you can do. If your temperature's too great, shut your door down, shut your vents down, even shut your top of your chimney down a little bit. Not all the way though, or else you're going to starve it. These are a couple of the basic things that you can learn when you're using an offset smoker like this, and we hope that that's been helpful. Next time you're going to see us, it's going to be time to eat, and I cannot wait. Let's go. We've just finished our cook, and I'm super excited. Take a look at the graph today from our fireboard. This is our pit, and you can sort of see how it snakes up and down and all over the show, but it does hold about a 250 average through there is what it's telling me, so that's really, really good. Let's take a little peek inside our micro chamber here. Whew, that aroma is just sensational. All that garlic, onion, stock, and everything sitting in there is just amazing. We're now just going to rest this for 1 hour, and then come back, make up a creamy garlic mash of potatoes, put it on the top and serve it. Can't wait to eat. Let's get into it. Okay, so the whole day has built up to this very moment. What I've done is I've made a creamy garlic mash by taking the onions and the garlic out of our lamb shanks. Will you look how good they look, by the way? And we put it into the butter, fresh cream, and now it's time for us to take some of this garlic and this onions, and I'm just going to dress up my mash a little bit. Very nice. Take myself a whole shank, place it right there, and we made a gravy also using the same juices. I'm just gonna drizzle that over. A little bit of garnish, just for the sake of a bit of colour. And here goes the moment we're going to taste it and see if it's any good. Look at that, it peels away beautifully. And a triumphant success. I'm going to say cheers to you. Absolutely amazing.